Good evening. I am Srijan Sen, a student of IT department at Institute of Engineering and Management, Kolkata. Under the guidance of Dr. Amit Kumar Mondol and Dr. Abhipshita Chatterjee, I am working on this project, Sentiment Analysis using Image Processing. Our project, Sentiment Analysis using Image Processing, uses Python programming language to recognize facial expression and so that it can analyze and identify the underlying emotions of an individual. The objective of this work is very simple. It is divided into various parts: emotion categorization, dataset curation, insight generation, trend analysis, behavioral understanding, social landscape understanding. What is emotion categorization? We give we read the facial expression and find the emotion of the person at that particular moment. Dataset curation: we give an dataset, entire dataset to the program. It will classify the images of that dataset into various emotions. Insight generation: by seeing the emotions of a person, suppose to a particular brand, we can identify the public opinion of that brand to the public. Trend analysis: the trend analysis, we can find what is the public's opinion nowadays. It is similar to insight generation. Behavioral understanding: by understanding the facial expression, we can find what is going to be the next move of that person, whether the person is very depressed and is ultimately suicidal or something like that. If we are successful in this, we can um, save a lot of lives from these suicidal tendencies. We can also stop a lot of crimes by finding the underlying emotion of the person. Now let us move on to the next slide. Motivation of this project: truly the motivation is nothing but to prevent unnecessary and unnecessary disputes and accidents by finding out the facial expression. By facial expression, one can unravel the true emotion of a person. So by this we can find whether a person is being aggressive to another person, whether a person is trying to harass another person, or whether he or she is trying to molest another person. So by this we can stop a lot of crimes that is happening today. This is my true motivation of this project. Application area: social media monitoring. Now we see a lot of violence and hateful things are spreading in social media. We can use this project to stop, to identify and put a stop to those things. Educational platform and mental health support. In this in this scenario, we have virtual education that has been popularized during COVID-19 times. Our model detects the facial expression and can understand the underlying emotions. So we can actually find whether a person is actually feeling depressed or whether a student is uh, understanding the teachings that has been taught by the teacher. Conflict resolution: so in a lot of public place, we can see that things get really problematic and fights erupt. By utilizing this model through CCTV camera, we can actually find whether when a fight will start and where a fight is starting, so we can actually prevent it. So this conflict resolution can be done. Marketing: during marketing, uh, we can actually utilize this camera and this model to find the emotion of a person towards a brand, whether a person likes a brand or not, or whether what category of people like this brand, which age group like this brand, so on. Now let us see the papers that we have reviewed in this project, reviewed for making this project. Paper 1: Sentiment Analysis for Social Media Images, written by Yilin Wang and Boxon Lee. It was published in November 2015 at IEEE 15th International Conference on Data Mining Workshops. This paper focuses on understanding human sentiments from large-scale collection of internet images using both image features and contextual social network information. Paper 2: Reliability and Perceived Value of Sentiment Analysis of Twitter Data, written by Jerry Jusilia, Vimla Vorori, Jussi Anoken, and Nina Helander. It was published in June 2017 at Strategic Innovative Marketing. The study evaluated the reliability and perceived value of sentiment analysis of Twitter data. The company representatives of Twitter found the analysis valuable in general terms, as it allowed them to easily see the distribution of negative and positive tweets hashtag to their company. Moving on. Now our third review paper, image sentiment analysis using deep learning. This author is Namita Mittal, Divya Sharma and Manju Lata Joshi. It was first published in December 2018 at International Conference on Web Intelligence. The title of paper 4 is Sentiment Analysis of Multimodal Twitter Data. It was written by Akshi Garg and Gitanjali Garg. It was first published in January 2019, IEEE Multimedia Tools and Applications. Moving on. The paper 5 is reviewed is on Twitter sentiment analysis using natural language toolkit and Veda sentiment. Shihab El Gabir and Jing Yang are its authors. It was first published in March 2019 at International Multi-Conference of Engineers and Computer Scientists. Our paper 6 we reviewed is on real-time sentiment analysis of political Twitter data using machine learning approach. It was written by Joelyn Priapinto and Vijaya Murariti. It was first published in April 2019 at IRJET. The paper 7 we reviewed is on evolution of deep learning techniques in sentiment analysis from Twitter data. Its authors are Shanika Mees and Dionys Galouras. It was published on August 2019 on International Conference on Deep Learning and Machine Learning in Emerging Applications. Our paper 8 is Facial Emotion Recognition using Deep Learning Convolutional Neural Network. Its authors are Pranav E., Suraj Kamal, Shashit Chandra Sen, Shupriya MH. Its publication is ICA CCS. It was published in April 2020. The paper 9 we reviewed is on Survey on Visual Sentiment Analysis. Its authors are Alessandro Ortiz, Giovanni Maria Farinella, Sebastiano Baratio. It was published on May 2020 at IET Image Processing. The title of paper of review 10 is Sentiment Analyzer using Machine Learning. Its authors are Rakesh Suryavanshi, Akshay R, Parikshit K, Subodh S. Kav. It was published in IRJNETS and it was published on June 2020. Now we move on to methodology. The data collection. First, the block diagram. In this data, we will understand. This is of two parts, this and this. This is the model creation part. We are creating the model here, creating and training. This one is the real-time deployed model. It is the working of the real-time model after the creation and the evaluation. Now let us create the model. First, we will collect the data using various data sets that is available. Second, we process the data. We process the images into grayscale, and for further processing, we use CNN model architecture, which is very essential and effective in using for video and image processing. We train the model and we evaluate using the various cross-check methods, cross-evaluation score methods. We then deploy the model. This model training part takes a lot of time, more than 10 to 12 hours, as it contains huge data sets, because understanding emotions by facial expression is a really difficult task. So various it should go through various supervised techniques through various data sets to make this model robust. Now, real-time execution. After this model is created, now when we will implement this model, first it will capture real-time images and videos. Then it will process the images, convert it into grayscale, and use the prediction algorithm to make the decision to show the emotion underlying and of that person, and if any action should be taken, and if any action is taken, then what action is taken. This is the conclusion of this methodology part. Now let us move on. So after reading the various research papers and reviewing them and creating the block diagram, let us understand the algorithm for this project. First is data collection. We acquire a diverse set of facial images with annotated expressions. This will be essential for supervised training of the model. Data preprocessing. We normalize and resize the facial images, and of course this includes grayscaling of the images so that the model is robust. Then the architecture of the model is created. We use CNN architecture for this model as it is very effective in dealing with image processing and video processing. Model training and evolution. We train the CNN model on the pre-processed data set, validate and evaluate the trained model on a separate test set. So basically we create two datasets, one is training dataset and one is testing dataset. We train them using training dataset and later on test it with testing dataset. This is all to create the score and find the accuracy of this model before we move on to the real life testing. Now moving on. Deployment. Now we have created the and trained the model and evaluated its score. Now it's time for deployment of this model. Now the time for real work, real time analysis. Suppose in a busy street road, a CCTV camera is there and it captures real-time facial images in form of a video or a live camera feed in the CCTV images, and we convert it into pre-process them and send it for decision making, prediction and decision making. We feed the pre-processed images into the deployed model for predictions. We apply the conditions and all the constraints for decision making and what are the actions that has to be taken for this decision. Suppose we are seeing a person climbing up a high, tall building's roof and moving on to its edge with a depressed face. This is a incredibly uh, visible visible annotation for suicidal tendencies. So we can understand a person is suicidal and we can actually send a person in time to save that person, suicidal person. So this can save a lot of lives. Now moving on. Output or display action. As I said, suppose the person is on the edge of a roof of a tall building with a depressed facial expression. So the output or this action it will take is to send this data to the nearest authorities so that they can send people to save the person in time. And as a result, the person's life will be saved. Moving on, the conclusion. The project we use is very effective in understanding the facial expression and underlying emotion of a person. This can be helpful in many ways, as we have stated throughout the PPT. The the various implementations that can be done in real life can save a lot of lives, and also it can build a public opinion. It can understand the public opinion regarding a brand or a decision of a government or something like that, or it can even save a riot before it even begins. It can stop a mob from destroying public vehicles and public places so that the required authorities get the signal and they can take action in the meantime. So thanking you. So we have referred to all the papers that we have surveyed and made a review paper on. We have used Google Scholar to find the research papers and Sci-Hub to acquire them, which is really helpful for a student like me without very much funding, without little to no funding in fact. And thank you for Google Copilot for analyzing these research papers and helping me out. So thank you for your patience, for sticking to the very end. I really appreciate this. So I hope you have understand my research topic and my project and its importance in our daily life, how much beneficial and how much life-saving can it be. So really, I appreciate this effort. Thank you very much.